we should get into the Who Would Win of the Week because we cannot forget about it.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll run it. Damn. Sorry.
You look frazzled.
No, I threw that at you, but there was silence, and it has to be done.
Yeah. Who would win of the week this week? Scientologists versus Jehovah's Witnesses. Good fight. Do you think Mormons would have a better chance against Scientologists than Jehovah's Witnesses?
No.
No, I would go Scientology over Jehovah.
You know what?
Mormons don't drink also, correct?
Yeah, but you know what?
As far as we know.
If you did Mormon,
well, I've been to Utah,
you can throw
and it is
Amish in the mix.
hard to find beer.
I feel like the desired matchup is Jehovah's Witnesses and Scientology.
Yes, I think that
I feel like those would be the two.
Well, is anyone on the Jehovah Witness side?
No.
Here?
Well, okay, let me.
Well,
think about this.
I never decide until
We'll
it's
talk
time
it
to
out,
decide. Yeah, I could be swayed either
we
way.
know that they're insane, and we know that when you really get into that religion, the members of it, they go pretty hard.
Yes, and I feel like Jehovah's Witnesses, they're more. Can you use like archaic? Is that like
Yeah,
like they're
I would
more
say traditional.
Yeah.
They're more like
traditionalist.
old-fashioned. I feel like
Well,
if you were to get into a fight with a Jehovah's Witness, they would resort to more older methods of retaliation rather than Scientologists,
They'd
who
be
I
like-
feel like would contact somebody to get rid of you.
Yes.
Well, so I had that's a big, kind of breaking point in my argument is Jehovah's Witness, very persistent people, right? They to this day, I believe they still go door to door, which is just absolutely insane. They're still on the guerrilla warfare train. They won't give it up. Crazy.
They are very persistent.
Very persistent. Scientologists, though, from what I understand, and it kind of got hinted at twice already, like if you were to, once you are part of the church, I don't think that there's a way out.
Not really.
I really think
It's like,
that
more of a cult, you're saying?
yeah, like if you were to get out, if you were to
There are a couple of
publicly
celebrities
say-
that have done
Tom
that.
Cruise.
Remini.
Leah
Yeah.
Remini or
That have-
he's still in there.
well, that have done it, but I feel like, to an extent, if you were to leave and try to expose the church, like they would come after you and not just to give you like a stern talking to.
No,
like they would want you to not do that
which
anymore.
makes
and
me
they would-
wonder how Leah, is it Remini?
Remini, I think.
Leah
is how she
Remini
said it, yeah.
makes me wonder how she was allowed to like make all those like anti-Scientology like documentaries and
Well,
stuff.
she wasn't like
Well,
allowed to.
I think
I know,
that
but,
I
like,
think two things
of
though.
course
I
she
think
wasn't
that
allowed
she
to,
didn't
but
but
like
how
it,
did
one-
she find
yeah.
allies? I guess.
Well,
Yeah.
that's.
Make it
I
right.
think you have to have a protection plan in place almost
Yes.
of like you are well known enough to where people
yeah.
know that you're publicly speaking out against them.
Whereas if
something were to
happen to
mysteriously
you,
happen, it
they
could
know
be
where it's coming
easily
from.
Or
traced
like a
back
witness
to.
protection program?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you have to go full public with it, like government conspiracy
It almost
style.
seems like it's like kind of her duty. It's like I'm in a position where like I'm famous enough that if I were to suddenly go missing after talking out about this thing, then we already know who's going to be held directly
so
responsible.
let them. Yeah, so if they're gonna come, let them come. They're just gonna expose themselves. So
Yeah.
she
Right.
kind of
Interesting.
put
It's
them in
almost
a
like
corner.
Yeah, it's like a checkmate.
But
Yeah.
if you're not that person,
No, if you're just like somebody
I
that
feel
has no,
like if you're right on that line of you don't have a true following outside of the fact that you're speaking out against Scientology,
Yes.
you could run into some
do we
trouble.
still know? Do we know where David Miscavige's wife is? I'm pretty sure hasn't been seen in public. So David Miscavige is the leader. Like he is the head, the highest up.
Well, he's the guy who wrote the
No,
novel.
that's L. Ron Hubbard.
Oh,
He's
L.
dead.
Ron
Yeah, he's
Hubbard,
dead.
yeah.
David Miscavige is like the president.
He's the
I guess
guy
you
now.
could
The
say.
current.
His wife has
that what
not
they're
been
called, the current?
seen in
don't-
public since 2007. I think it's like she has just not been seen.
But she still answers emails. She just sounds a lot
like
more masculine
apparently
now.
it's just like she doesn't go out in public anymore. But there's like speculation that
She's worried about COVID,
Yeah.
man. She's been worried since 2007, dude.
Free Britney style, wear a yellow shirt if you're being held
You know
captive.
what, though? I will say, I think if you were walking down the street and a gaggle of Scientologists was coming at you, that would be more threatening than a
Intimidating
group,
than a group of Jehovah's
Jehovah's
Witnesses.
Witnesses.
Yes.
They
Oh, that's a
do
good
all
point.
dress the same, but I mean,
I have known
it does
Jehovah's
seem like you could take
Witnesses.
four
I've
of
never
them at a
known
time.
a Scientologist.
Fair. But back to what I'm saying, though. So you guys, we were all on board with that initial kind of argument towards Scientology I was making. the flip side of that is, and it kind of popped into my head right as I first started the thought, and I did this. People that are listening don't know what I'm doing. I'm doing like a telepathic
You're
like
touching
thing.
your fingers to your temples.
So I do think that Jehovah's Witnesses, old school, they'll probably get to the point where they're down to get they're ready to get down and dirty. Like they're ready to
put them in a position where they have to be up against Scientologists.
Take off their collars and let's roll up our white button. Well, they wear short sleeves a lot of times. So, but get your sleeves up. Yeah, roll them up and just start throwing haymakers.
When we're pitting these groups against each other, is this like who would win in a fight?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so it is like a brawl.
Yes.
Oh, we're talking.
So
about
that
fights.
okay, so that changes.
I totally forgot about that.
That changes my answer a little bit. I felt like if it had to be one religion over the other, I'd say it's probably science. Like it's like it's what one will last.
Yeah.
But if it's like a physical brawl,
yeah,
I might pick Jehovah's Witnesses.
So, but let me say this. So that's why I brought up the point about Scientologists like working outside of the law a little bit. You know what I mean? Because there's definitely some sketchy stuff going on there. But I do feel like they are crazy. I guess I'll use the word crazy. Like involved in this, whole idea that, aliens live in their brains and stuff like that, to the point where they probably think like, oh, we can just like,
I feel like if it's like a
matrix
brawl,
these
like a war, I would use the Revolutionary War as an analogy. I would put the British as Scientologists. Like they're the more like strategic ones. Like they're going to be working behind closed doors.
Yeah.
And the Americans, the colonists, are the Jehovah's Witnesses.
The colonists,
so like
have
they're
a
just going to be
purpose.
guerrillas, like guerrilla warfare. They're just going to be like oh, we don't work behind closed doors. We're persistent enough that we're just going to pound you to death.
Yeah.
Jehovah's Witnesses are fighting for a true purpose, right? They're fighting for because they witnessed Jehovah.
They're bystanders. They're not even involved in the fight. So
whereas
I'm just a
Scientologists, there's speculation that a lot of that is about money and power.
Once you get to a certain point, but if you are lower on the Scientology ladder and you have fully consumed the Kool-Aid, so to speak, I think that going into this battle, if you let a full radical Scientologist off the chain, they're going to attack in a very animalistic style, very manic way, and at first, perhaps Jehovah's Witnesses might be thrown off by that a little. I don't think for long, because again, I think that part of the traditional religion, like fire and brimstone type thing, they would kind of be like, this is what we trained for, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like,
and
this is time to defend.
Topped with, we really can't say it enough, the persistent. You can't keep a Jehovah's Witness down, man.
No.
They're going to come back every time.
Just in my extensive research that I just did a few minutes ago on my phone, I did look up, Jehovah's Witnesses aren't pacifists. It says they're neutral because they're supposed to be like the good Christian, good Christian values. So I feel like they're not really inclined to fight anyway, but they're not necessarily opposed. But as we know,
in the situation of a religious war, there's bloodshed to be had.
As we know, though, all Scientologists are trained in Krav Maga. That is part of the belief of Scientology. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I was like, wait a minute. That could change things. So my last... I mean, you got a group of people trained in Krav Maga going up fighting against Jehovah's Witnesses. Shit might get out of hand.
Maybe that's an idea for them to consider.
They probably already wrote it down. Yeah, they do listen to this. Yeah, they do listen to this podcast.
Yeah, they do. Tom Cruise is.
So this might be wrong, but we've had a conversation about Scientology on this show before. And correct me if I'm wrong, but like if you're higher in the ranks in Scientology, you don't have aliens in your brain.
Well, it's very difficult to be completely
alien
free. Yeah, so
but
I
if
don't
there's,
know if any of them are.
but
and I don't.
But I feel like if you're, a lower level, you have a lot of aliens in your head.
These power structures are so like innate that as you get higher up in the chain, like spiritually, you lose these aliens. Like that is.
So I guess like the idea behind it is that like all of like the bad things that happen to you and bad thoughts and all the bad things in life stem from you have too many like aliens in your brain, and you have to get them out of there, and you do that.
Don't they
by
think that like after you die,
Scientology.
your like soul hops a star, and like you like.
That sounds right. I can't remember what they.
Have you ever watched the show Community?
Situation is.
I've seen a couple episodes.
Okay, well, the religion that Pierce Hawthorne is in that show is what I think Scientology is.
Laser Lotus,
yes,
or something. I mean, it might be loosely
their
based
Bible,
on that,
Dianetics, right? That's their And how do you defeat or no? How do you defend the argument that because it is a fact that Dianetics, it was a science fiction book.
What is Dianetics exactly?
That's like their Bible.
The guy who created Scientology,
Hubbard or whatever.
Yeah, he wrote a science fiction.
I don't know anything about.
How would a Scientologist? Because I'm sure it happens all the time. Because that's like number one point in refuting it. How as a Scientologist do you defend like your Bible was written as a science fiction book?
Well, I would say that L. Ron Hubbard, if I were a Scientologist in position, I would say obviously L. Ron Hubbard knew that there were going to be people out there who would try to denounce his religion, so he had to put it out there under the guise as science
fiction. They could say like this is his method of conveying the information.
Yes, exactly, because the powers that be, the aliens, want him to
because it was like it was the 50s.
Word.
You couldn't just break out another Christianity or like another religion. You had to like disguise it as a science fiction book.
Now you'd have to make a TikTok account for it. I guess.
Is there? Because I know a lot of religions rely on like victimization. Like, is that part of it? Like it's like Christ,
I don't think
Christ was crucified.
I don't think they were ever persecuted per se, except for the fact that we're slandering them right now.
No, well, but there's they are trying to cure an affliction, right? Because the aliens in the brain.
Yeah.
So it's more like we're big brain. We know how to like fix all the problems.
Yeah.
You guys are.
We have a method of getting rid of the aliens that you can't see or feel.
And we're all of us are just smooth brain Neanderthals essentially.
Yeah,
I guess so.
They're like enlightened.
Jehovah's Witnesses and Scientologists would most definitely fight. Like if two groups of them ran into each other, they would have
Jehovah's
very
Witnesses are like that's a part of Christianity. So it's like they believe like the Bible, whereas
like the original, right? That's their whole thing. Is like the original. Like I saw something like Reformationist. It's like the original belief about like Christianity or something like that.
They believe everything. Like they don't, they don't celebrate like Christmas or birthdays or anything
they don't,
like that.
Yeah, they don't do anything fun.
Very strictly like religious. And I think it's kind of linked into evangelicalism, right? Which I absolutely despise. Like the super pastors.
Yeah.
Like, you got to blow out the COVID.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, maybe. I suppose as much as like any other branch of that religion,
Baptists,
but I don't think specifically.
I feel like Baptists are usually
like the scene
I don't know what the
I got another movie
like.
scene to refer that to. Kingsman.
Okay.
Have you ever seen the Kingsman movies? When he goes to the church and Samuel L. Jackson's putting that chip in all their brains, but that pastor, whatever he is going crazy before they decide to start murdering each other.
Maybe it depends how vicious these people might be based on how vicious their ideologies are. Like I know because like I don't know, Jehovah's Witnesses are they like super like anti-gay, anti-trans, all that stuff.
Are they? I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
I think they're more or less just super tradition where it's like I feel like they more or less will just not talk about it, rather than like outwardly denounce it.
What about Scientology? What's their stance on like political issues and stuff like that? Because if they have like a lot of like like conspiracy, like Nazi kind of like those.
I've never heard Tom Cruise say a gay slur. So
okay, well, because if they align with certain like really like toxic beliefs, then maybe they're more like they'll bite your ear off in a fight.
I feel like out of those two, I feel like a Jehovah's Witness. I mean, again, I could be talking on my ass. I really don't know, but I feel like a Jehovah's Witness might be more likely to denounce a sin.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Emily, you're a Jehovah, right?
To lock it in so we can get moving here, I'm going to have to go with Jehovah's Witnesses. I actually thought I was going to go Scientology to start, but I've talked myself into Scientologists being a little bit too off the rails and Jehovah's Witness having a little bit of grit.
I think that's a valid position.
I see where you're coming from.
But I'm gonna go for Scientologist, and I'm not gonna explain myself.
Yeah, you don't need to.
Yeah,
I am. So I'm acknowledging I can go either ways, but I'm leaning towards Scientologists. I was way Scientologist before, and then it kind of brought me to the other side a little bit. But I think I'm going to lean back to Scientologists just because I feel like overall their strategies would outweigh the traditional style of fighting that the Jehovah's Witnesses
perhaps, but in a fist fight, I think that Scientologists would, typical Scientologists like that would really lose themselves in that moment, and I think a Jehovah's Witness would keep a more level head.
I think it's based on like the good punching. Christian, like they're not. I think they're so concerned with their good Christian values that they're probably not willing to take it far enough in a fight.
I just feel like going to.
I think that's why I'm going.
I don't necessarily think that. I think Jehovah's Witnesses would have more muscle. Like they would be the better fighter. But I would feel like the Scientologists just have something up their sleeve.
Yeah, exactly.
They're going into this fist fight.
Laser guns.
They're going into this fist fight.
Who said
sneakily?
Is this a fair fight?
Yeah,
or is this
there's
a
no
street
weapons.
fight?
Well, there's no weapons involved.
No, yeah.
There's no holds barred.
But they might bite their face.
I'm a Scientologist, right? Yeah. I'm about to fist fight a Jehovah's Witness. I'm scared. I'm going to do something under the table to help me.
Yeah,
like a penis pump.
Yes,
exactly.
Exactly.
So did you?
No, but you know what? Ryan's point there made me switch to Scientology because I was gonna go Jehovah, but. Yeah, Scientologists, they would definitely fight dirty.
I think
so. And they'd be very good at that. So I'm going to lock in Scientology as well.
I did appreciate the counterpoint.
Hey, it's 3-1.
I think
listen, the best part is that our votes don't matter because Instagram votes for it. So vote on that on our Instagram on Friday.